Magic acts, fireworks viewing, literal fire, and super cheesy burgers? Nope, we're not going to the Disney World restaurants this time around. We're hitting up the bars for some underrated eats and views here on DFB Guide. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. When you're planning a dining itinerary for your Disney World vacation, a bar or a lounge may not be where you turn to first. Great place for a drink, sure, but can it really fuel you up around lunch or dinner? But this is Disney we're talking about here, so these aren't your average bars that you might find in your local downtown. These are underrated stops, not only serving up hundreds of different cocktails, spirits, and beers, but also some really, really incredible food and lounge bites, and your kids are perfectly welcome here. That's another huge difference, and it's totally okay to bring them. So it's time to dive into some lounges that could save your dining plans. Let me show ya. First up on our list are great places to go if you've missed out on getting a dining reservation. So I've said it before, I'll say it again, you gotta jump on those advanced dining reservations 60 days before your big trip if you want to eat at Disney World's most popular restaurants. But even if you miss your window of opportunity, that doesn't mean you're totally out of luck. You can still experience some of the best food in Disney World and some of the themed and signature restaurants if there's an attached lounge or bar, even if you didn't get a reservation. Now, one of the best examples of this is Hollywood Brown Derby Lounge. Let's say you want to eat semi-fancy and you're in Disney's Hollywood Studios. Like, you don't want a full-on signature restaurant experience, but you also don't want to settle for a hot dog or hamburger at a quick service. Well, it's worth seeing if you can grab a last-minute seat at Hollywood Brown Derby Lounge on Hollywood Boulevard. They do not take reservations to dine here, so it's first come, first serve. So everybody's on an equal playing field. The main Hollywood Brown Derby restaurant is a signature experience, meaning fancy, schmancy, and expensive. And it's inspired by the real Hollywood Brown Derby over in California, so expect to see lots of celebrity photos and caricatures and autographs. Some are even authentic to those original Brown Derby restaurants. Now, Hollywood Brown Derby has a rather extensive menu, but if you decide to get on the walk-up wait list instead for the Hollywood Brown Derby Lounge, your options are going to be a little more limited, but you're still going to have access to the most popular items indoors. You've got the famous Cobb salad made with turkey, bacon, eggs, tomatoes, blue cheese, avocado, classic dressing. You can also add an extra protein for an extra cost, or you can get that charcuterie board to share with the table featuring a large selection of meats and cheeses. There are BLT sliders with chipotle glazed pork belly, pea shoots, tomato jam, pickled red onions. Whatever you decide, you'll be able to pair your entree with a cocktail of your choice. They've even got a grapefruit cake martini made to taste like the restaurant's famous grapefruit cake dessert that was originally created for the Hollywood Brown Derby way back in the 40s. And by the way, you can get the grapefruit cake itself at the Hollywood Brown Derby Lounge. Fair warning, most of the tables for the Hollywood Brown Derby Lounge are outdoors. They're shaded with umbrellas, but they can get real toasty on those hot Orlando days, and you're not going to be sheltered from some sort of big, huge rainstorm. It's also worth noting that this lounge can get pretty popular during prime lunch and dinner times, so try timing your visits somewhere in between for a better chance at a walk-up seat without a forever long wait. We usually find our best chance at success in that 3 to 4 p.m. window. Now let's step out of the parks and check out how to snag some bites at the most popular Disney Resort restaurants, minus the reservation hassle. We're going to California Grill. Now, once upon a time, if you wanted to eat at the signature restaurant on the 15th floor of Disney's contemporary resort, California Grill, without having to worry about a reservation, you used to be able to eat at a lounge area that still gave you access to the restaurant's full menu. But ever since the kickoff of Disney World's 50th anniversary celebration, where the main menu switched from having a la carte options to a prefix menu, which gives you a set price for one appetizer, one entree, one dessert, the lounge area kind of disappeared. It became part of the actual restaurant itself, where you had to have a reservation to dine. But there is still a loophole, and that's grabbing a walk-up seat at the bar. California Grill's bar area is limited, but if you're fortunate enough to grab a seat here, you'll have access to not only a full list of different wines and cocktails, but also a limited bar menu with options like sushi, braised beef, short rib, wontons, they're so good, and charcuterie. So you can also grab pizza here, like the 4-cheese basic selection, or our personal favorite, the 50th anniversary specialty pizza, the house-made artisanal style duck à l'orange, made with duck confit and prosciutto, fig jam, pickled shallots, and aged blue cheese. I know I lost some of y'all at blue cheese, but if you are a blue cheese fan, you're in for a treat. And the best part, if you time your visit just right, you'll still be able to access the restaurant's outdoor balcony and watch Magic Kingdom's fireworks display from that private viewing area. Just keep in mind that the bar area here is only for guests who are 21 and older. So this is when your kids can't come to, but the rest of these, they can. And now for a resort lounge that's been around for ages that still provides us with the secret menu goods. Are you really living your best tropical life if you're not drinking out of a pineapple within 5 hours of arriving in Disney World? Answer, no. Sorry, I don't make the rules. Tambu Lounge at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort is right outside one of our favorite themed restaurants of all time, Ohana. And although you're not going to get that full-on dinner experience at Tambu that you're going to get while eating at Ohana, since Ohana is all about the Hawaiian-style, all-you-care-to-enjoy stuff, you will have access to plenty of fun drinks and some snack items straight out of Ohana's open kitchen. Yep, you can drink out of a pineapple here when you order the Lapu Lapu fruity rum cocktail, but you can also get a free bamboo back scratcher when you order the back scratcher cocktail, which is made with rum, whiskey, and guava passion fruit juice. But as far as food goes, you can order appetizers here like sushi, pot stickers, wings, and ribs, and those pot stickers and wings are the same ones that are served at Ohana. And after 4 p.m., you're going to usually be able to order the Ohana noodles from the menu, which is one of our favorite things to fill up on while we're dining at Ohana. Same goes for the ever-popular Ohana bread pudding. You want to order that warm pineapple bread with caramel sauce? Just ask. You just might be able to purchase this dessert without having to step foot in the Ohana restaurant. Usually it's available at Tambu after 4 p.m. And even if they're not listed on the menu, which honestly they usually are, you can always ask your server or bartender for an order. They're not always going to be available, but it never hurts to ask, especially if you're wanting some of those sweet stir-fry noodles without having to pay for an entire prefix menu. Next up, what if you want a highly themed Disney Imagineered experience? Well, Disney World doesn't skimp out on the theming even when it comes to bars and lounges. In fact, some of the best storytelling comes from these areas around the parks, resorts, and even Disney Springs. We're going to start at Oga's Cantina. So this is calling all smugglers and space travelers, of course. Oga's in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is the place for intergalactic vagabonds of all types to come settle in, have a drink, and listen to the DJ stylings of R3X. You got a variety of different drinks here, both alcoholic and non, depending on your preference. You want an alcoholic beverage that'll make your lips go numb? You've got the Fuzzy Tauntaun. You want one of those cocktails with the cool smoky haze pouring out over the rim? Then you order the Bespin Fizz. You want a non-alcoholic drink with a vanilla butter sugar cookie on top of some blue milk? Gotta grab yourself the Blue Bantha for that. There are a couple of munchie options here, but honestly, I'd probably pick another lounge or bar if you're on the search for something more substantial and more affordable. The Batu sweet and savory cracker bits aren't bad, but definitely won't fill you up. And the Hapabor sampler platter is just an overpriced charcuterie that's an okay assortment of options. But the atmosphere at Oga's is fun and a must-do if you're a Star Wars fan. The lounge does need advanced dining reservations to experience, though we've had a lot of luck lately getting on the virtual wait lists earlier on in the day or the walk-up wait list. You can add yourself to any available walk-up wait list by checking out the dining tip board of your My Disney Experience app. Just remember that because of the lounge's popularity, it's not the best idea to rely solely on a walk-up waitlist for this one. And whether you get on the waitlist or you have an advanced dining reservation, you'll only have 45 minutes to experience the Cantina before you'll be asked to move along. Though honestly, since this place is pretty much standing room only and it gets kind of crowded, 45 minutes is probably more than enough time to soak in the atmosphere before you'll be ready to head back out into Disney's Hollywood Studios again. Now let's jump right on into another space-themed lounge, which will also require you to get an advanced dining reservation. The winner for the coolest themed Epcot restaurant does go to Space 220. Space 220 has a lot of style. You start your journey by hopping aboard a Stellavator, which will shoot you up into space and deliver you to the Centauri space station, 220 miles above the Earth. And from the Centauri space station, you're going to get some epic views of space from those giant windows surrounding the dining room. And by epic, I do mean epic, as in something's going to be happening amongst the stars constantly, whether it be other ships cruising by or astronauts deciding to take their astro dogs on a lovely afternoon spacewalk. You may even see a lightsaber battle up there. But when you eat in the main dining room, whether it be for lunch or dinner, you're going to have to pay for that prefix menu price. So if you want access to an a la carte menu of select flight bites instead, and a full menu of atmospheric spirits, then the lounge might be a better option for you that'll still get you a ride on the Stellavator and a nice view of the mesmerizing Centauri space station experience without having to pay an arm and a leg to do so. So what's on the lounge menu in space? Well, for drinks, you've got options like like the Stargarita, or the vodka-based Stratosphere of Strawberry Lemonade. You've got the Big Tang, which features Grand Marnier tang-infused agave nectar and astronaut ice cream sandwich on top, which is not really ice cream at all, but more like a sweet freeze-dried light and airy treat. And for food, we're big fans of the Blue Moon cauliflower, made with tempura fried cauliflower, house-made hot sauce, and blue cheese dust. But there are other non-blue cheese options too, like the Starry Calamari, the Astro Deviled Eggs, and the Chicken on Waffle. Because when I think about space travel, the first thing I immediately think about is, boy, I can't wait to enjoy a big plate of chicken and waffles. Right. And we're heading back into the Polynesian Village Resort for one of the most exclusive and highly themed bars around. We're headed to Trader Sam's Grog Grotto. It's one thing to drink and munch at a tropical themed bar, and it's another thing entirely when that bar just so happens to be very enchanted and very, very cursed. Trader Sam's Grog Grotto is an interactive bar experience where the drinks you order will trigger events around the room. Volcanoes erupt, bar stools grow and shrink, tiki gods throw massive fits until you appease them with sacrifices. Okay, maybe I should explain the tiki god thing a little bit more. One of the most exciting and interactive drinks you can find on the Trader Sam's menu is called the A'oa, and A'oa is right. When you order this specialty cocktail, a few things are going to happen. One, it's going to come out literally on fire. Two, the Grog Grotto is going to have a fit. We're talking flickering lights and swirling storms. And three, the tiki god looking down at the bar from above. Yeah, she's not too happy about whatever's going on here, and she's going to let that be known with her booming voice and glowing red eyes. 4, to calm her down, you have to use the cinnamon that accompanies this 2-person beverage to throw into the flames as a worthy sacrifice. Just be careful with that. Throwing cinnamon in your fruity rum concoction is fun and all, but it can be overpowering if you go overboard with that ritual. But along with the fruity atmospheric drinks that'll determine the course of your time here, you can also order a selection of appetizers like the Kahlua pork tacos, the chicken or tofu lettuce wraps, or one of our personal favorites, the Thai chicken flatbread made with bacon and peanut sauce. As cool as Trader Sam's is, this grotto is very popular and has very limited seating, so it's best to get on the wait list about 30 minutes before the bar opens, so like around 2:30. This experience does not have a virtual wait list or advanced dining reservations, so you will have to get in a physical line to add yourself to the queue here. Abracadabar at Disney's Boardwalk Inn Resort might have a silly name, but it also has quite the chilling backstory. According to Disney Imagineering, Abracadabar was once the hip happen and hangout for Boardwalk's most famous group of magicians and entertainers. That is, until they all mysteriously vanished 70 years ago. Now all that's left of this talented crew is their arsenal of magic memorabilia, as well as the newspaper clippings framed on the wall of the establishment, retelling the greatest disappearing act of the century. I know, the setting sounds like it's set up to be some sort of escape room-like scenario, and that would be cool, but really it's just a semi-mysterious place to grab some drinks and food in the evenings. You got 3 bar snacks to choose from right now that are served between 5 and 9 p.m. There's the cheesy Abra fries, the margarita pizza, and the salumi, aka a bunch of assorted meats and cheeses. You've also got some fun magic-themed cocktails here too, like the bourbon-based parlor trick, the rum, mango, and Sprite magic mirror, the whiskey-based magic hatton, and several other illusion-based punny drinks. Some mysteries may never be solved, but they sure are fun to track down. Next, we're going to head over to Indiana Jones and his trusty pilot over in Disney Springs. Do you hear that? It's the Indiana Jones theme song playing off in the distance. Just pretend here, because I don't want to be copyright claimed. Jock Lindsey's Hangar Bar is located in the landing area of Disney Springs and is themed around the many adventures of Indiana Jones himself, alongside his pilot Jock Lindsey, as they attempt to track down the ever-elusive Fountain of Youth. Though it doesn't seem like they've found it just yet, they've certainly collected a lot of fun trinkets along the way, which are displayed proudly on the shelves, walls, and rafters of the bar. And heads up, there are a lot of secret hidden Easter eggs in here. But Jock Lindsey is a place with cocktails and tapas galore. Here you're going to find signature alcoholic and non-alcoholic libations with rather clever names. On the alcoholic side, you've got Shorty's Singapore Sling made with gin, cherry liqueur, lime, and pineapple juice and grenadine. Or you can get something like the Wrong Island made with rum, vodka, gin, orange liqueur, sweet and sour, and Coca-Cola. These drinks don't fool around. And on the non-alcoholic side of the menu, you can choose concoctions like the Antidote, which is basically a Shirley Temple, or the Poisonless Dart, which is basically basically a mint julep. There are a lot of different appetizers to choose from too, but the ones I want to specifically point out are the Air Pirates cargo-loaded pretzel and Dr. Astorga's queso fundido. Why? Not only are these tasty and easy to share, but they're cheaper depending on when you visit. Normally, the loaded pretzel is going to cost you $22, while the queso fundido will cost $12.50. But if you visit Jock Lindsey's around happy hour, which takes place between 12 and 3 from Monday through Friday, then these apps will cost you $8 each. Not too shabby. You'll also find happy hour deals for select wine, draft beer, and specialty cocktails during this time. So it's a great option to visit here for lunch. A lot of lounges aren't open for lunch, but Jock Lindsey's is. And with those great deals, definitely worth it. Now hold up, one more super cool thing about this place that I've got to share. If you hit up this place around the holiday season, you're not going to find Jock Lindsey's Hangar Bar. You're going to find Jock Lindsey's Holiday Bar. Jock and Indy love sprucing up the place for the holly jolly season, which also includes sprucing up their menu with seasonal offerings, which has included in the past things like the Yule Mule, the venison sliders, the holiday lights deviled eggs, the cookies and milk, and the ever popular lump of coal dessert made of cookies and cream ganache and served in a smoky presentation. Now, if you need a place to fill up on cozy foods alongside your drink of choice, you've got options. If you want some comfort food, sometimes you just need a place that's going to give you a variety of food that'll not only fill you up, but make your taste buds super, super happy and satisfied. And many of Disney World's bars can do just that. Epcot's UK Pavilion has a snug little table service with comfort foods and big old drinks aplenty. Rose and Crown features both a dining room and a pub area, but you'll arrive at the pub portion of the restaurant first, since it's right up front as soon as you enter the building. Much like the lounges I've already shouted out in this video, you'll need a reservation for the main dining room area, but you can always grab a pub table, that is if one's available at your time of visit. There are only 2 pub grub options right now, the fish and chips and the Scotch eggs, but honestly, if those sound fabulous for you, they'll fill you up nicely for $13 each. But a big selling point of this pub are those large imperial pints, which come in many forms, featuring lagers, ales, ciders, and or stouts. And let's return to Disney's Contemporary Resort for a bit to check out the second lounge in this group. This has provided us not only comfort foods, but also comfort vibes when Magic Kingdom is just feeling a little too people-y in the afternoon. We're headed to Steakhouse 71. Comfy chairs, soft music, and artwork that's easy on the eyes. Is safe to say that Steakhouse 71 Lounge would be a nice place to escape for a bit, even if they just served up water, but thank goodness they've got the tasty stuff too. Now, the main Steakhouse 71 restaurant isn't the most difficult table service restaurant to get a reservation for, despite the fact that it's really good and decently priced. But the lounge area is still a nice alternative, just in case reservations are all filled up, or you want a more informal setting in a big old lounge chair. Along with drinks, and more drinks, you've got some great food options here. Some food is more appetizer-sized, like the loaded mac and cheese with applewood bacon and jalapeno, and the onion rings served with spicy ranch dipping sauce. But other foods are more hearty, like the gloriously cheesy stack burger that comes with a side of wedge salad, fries, or pasta salad. And the downside here, no steak menu at the lounge, so you're gonna have to make dinner reservations for the main restaurant to gain access to the steakhouse cut selections. But honestly, there's a lot on the lounge menu that you're gonna love. So Chef Art Smith's Homecoming is next. It's at Disney Springs. It's already one of our favorite spots to grab good old Southern comfort food, like Art's famous fried chicken and the Church Lady deviled eggs, and he's got a great Mama's mac and cheese. But back in 2020, Homecoming decided to up its game and add an open-air patio called the Shine Bar and Social. Shine Bar is very similar to the Homecoming restaurant itself. You can still order off the main menu, enjoy that juicy, tender fried chicken of your dreams, but the prime focus at the Shine Bar is the Shine on Tap, where you can grab a moonshine-based cocktail to enjoy in their outdoor seating area or on the go. There are moonshine margaritas, sweet tea shine, rum shine punch, lemon-infused blue hooch, and spiked strawberry lemonade. But if you're having a hard time deciding, you can get a flight of all featured flavors, because why not? Oh, and let's not skip over the big kicker here, the refillable moonshine bottle. For $22, you can get a 22-ounce jumbo squeeze bottle, and if you bring it back to the Shine Bar later on, they'll refill it with your choice of shine for $13. Don't worry, if you're eating at the main restaurant, you can still order yourself a specialty moonshine too, and also a slice of that lemon moonshine infused shine cake while you're at it. It is excellent. Now, this next place also doesn't have a steak or anything of the sort, but it does put us back in the parks. We're headed to Baseline Tap House. Now, I couldn't call Baseline Tap House in Disney's Hollywood Studios cozy in terms of its setting, unless you consider shoulder to shoulder outside with other guests during the heat of the day as cozy. But Baseline does have some hearty charcuterie options and a rotating selection of beers on tap that you might enjoy. For $10, you can order the California cheese and charcuterie plate, which includes a variety of cheeses, shocker, chorizo, salami, grapes, toasted baguettes, and other side accompaniments. It's a great deal, and that's really why Baseline Tap House is on this list. $10 for a shareable platter of eats, pretty amazing in Disney World. You can also get the big as your head Bavarian pretzel with beer cheese fondue and spicy mustard on the side. And though many come here for the rotating beers, you can also get ciders, wines, and cocktails on tap too. By the way, the beers don't actually spin around. I mean rotating menu of beers. If you want to try it out, aim for the end of the day rather than the middle of it. Usually people will be out of the park by then or focusing in on getting some actual dinner or last minute ride-throughs. And that'll give you more room to breathe while you sip and savor over there at Baseline. So let's up the swanky dial a notch for this next group. We are going for classy with a capital C. It's date night in Disney World. Where do you want to go? Well, here are some unique suggestions that might not have crossed your mind before and are going to be perfect if you don't have a reservation. Starting over at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa, there's no shortage of fine dining here, and that includes their lounges. Enchanted Rose is a Beauty and the Beast themed lounge where every room is themed with sophisticated gold accents to reflect not only the elegance of Belle's ball gown and the famous dance scene, but also of her shiny Baroque-looking furniture friends from the live-action film. Drinks are plentiful here with options like featured cocktails and martinis, grand cocktails that have more familiar options like a Manhattan and a mojito, and a full wine library. But the food here is pretty impressive too. You've got that house-made mushroom flatbread, those truffle fries, which are absolutely killer, and the crab macaroni and cheese. Food is only served between 5 and 10 p.m. daily, so if you want a bite of some of this cheesy goodness, you're going to have to wait till dinner time. Now hold on, we're not done with Grand Floridian just yet. Like I said, classy establishments here are plentiful. We're going to move from Beauty and the Beast on to Mary Poppins Returns territory and go to Citricos Signature Lounge. So the signature restaurant Citricos is classy, bright and open, has details inspired by the best Cherry Tree Lane nanny on the block. It's also got an attached lounge, which is up toward the front of the restaurant, and much like we talked about earlier on, doesn't need an advanced dining reservation like the dining room requires. But unlike the attached restaurant lounges we talked about before, the Citricos Lounge offers up not just a full list of drinks, but the full restaurant menu too, meaning you can order appetizers, entrees, enchantments, desserts, even kids' meals. And the food here is inspired by the flavors of Provence, Tuscany, and the Spanish Riviera, with options like steaks seared on an oak-fired grill, creative risottos, and house-made pastas. But lounge or not, these entrees are going to be pricey, so make sure to budget for this splurge ahead of time. The main benefit of choosing a seat in the main dining room instead of the lounge is that guaranteed seating, since the Citricos Lounge's availability is first come, first served. But what if you want a nighttime spectacular along with your romantic evening? Unfortunately, you're not going to get that at Citricos in the dining room or the lounge area, but I do know where you can get fireworks views aside from California Grill. On top of Grand Destino Tower at Disney's Coronado Springs Resort, you're going to find Dahlia Lounge. This is a hidden gem, my friends. It's an artsy space with an interior inspired by Spanish modernism, which is why you're going to find dandelion-shaped chandeliers, giant reflecting mirrors, and pictures of Salvador Dali hanging with our good pal Walt Disney. The Dahlia Lounge is known for its tapas, like the Spanish charcuterie, the crispy artichokes, and the tortilla española, aka an omelet filled with spinach, white beans, and olive relish. Not exactly picky eater friendly, but if you're here for adventure, then you've got adventure. And though there are a lot of different drinks here, the hand-selected wines are Dahlia Lounge's specialty. You've got your choice: sparkling, white, rosé, red, and sweet. Once you've got a drink in hand, you can make your way out to the patio area, and this is a great place. Like for starters, you've got several benches, coffee tables, and pillows to get all settled into. And then you've got this breathtaking view out across the resort where you're going to get to see the Epcot fireworks and Hollywood Studios fireworks without having to budge. If your ears perked up when I said hand-selected wines, then I need to introduce you to a little place called Wine Bar George. All right, we're headed over to Disney Springs, and they've got no shortage of solid places to eat and drink. But one we found ourselves visiting time and again is Wine Bar George. This is owned by Master Sommelier George Miliatis. who was also part of the Disney chef opening team for California Grill way back in the day. Wine Bar George has more than 130 wines for you to choose from, and if that number overwhelms you, don't sweat it. The servers here are trained to help find the perfect wine for you, so just tell them some of your flavor preferences or tell them you know nothing at all about wine like I do, and then they will hit you with a great idea. They may even introduce you to your possibly newfound favorite wine. The food here ranges from small plates like hummus and crispy mac and cheese bites to charcuterie boards to family-style plates that'll serve large helpings of either skirt steak or grilled whole sea bass. Or they've even got a small selection of entrees, only available between 12 and 3 p.m. Monday through Friday, which kind of stinks if you're here on a Saturday and you're really craving those steak frites, which are a limited entree option only right now. Another limited offering from this bar is the Wine Country Brunch menu, which is only available on the weekends between 10:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. That's going to get you familiar mid-morning items like Eggs Benedict, French toast, and biscuits and gravy. Now, Wine Bar George can get to be pretty popular throughout the week, and some may argue that this is a straight-up restaurant versus a lounge and bar. So you can indeed make reservations for this location, though walk-ups could be available when you visit too. Seating is both indoors and outdoors, but outdoors is pretty fun because you can people watch shoppers from that upstairs balcony area, which is a show in and of itself. Now, this next group of bars and lounges can also be great for date nights or date afternoons, depending on the hours. But they're just as enjoyable to go to alone if you need a breather or a drink and something to eat. This is where you're going to totally chillax in Disney World. Now, among the major crowds, unpredictable weather, kids who keep begging for the new Wishable, Disney World can wind up way less relaxing and way more, I want to rip my hair out, stressful. So here are the best lounge escapes to regain your inner peace and have a nice meal while you're at it. Spoiler alert, these are probably my favorite lounges we've talked about so far. And of course, I bet you can guess if you watch DFV Guide a lot, we're going to start at Nomad Lounge. Nomad is right next to the signature restaurant in Disney's Animal Kingdom, Tiffin's. And although I like Tiffin's, I definitely like Nomad Lounge more. That might be a hot take for you. For starters, it's not as expensive as Tiffin's. At least it doesn't have to be. You can still rack up the bill here with multiple specialty cocktails like the fruity rum-based Leaping Lizards and the rum-heavy Tempting Tigress, or the gin, mint, and ginger beer Annapurna Zing with a lotus glow flower on top, by the way. But you don't have to bust your budget here. You can also get small plates that come directly from Tiffin's kitchen, like the ever-popular Tiffin's bread service, featuring Thai milk bread, coconut mackerel lime sauce, Indian papadum, ginger pear chutney, and guava jam. Basically, it's a lot of good flavors that are way more unique than your average roll of butter. You can also get something a little more on the sweeter side here, like the churros, which come with vanilla and coffee dipping sauces. Though in the past it was a chili strawberry dipping sauce and not a coffee one, so keep your eyes peeled for what's going on the menu. Now, these churros are some of our absolute favorites in all of the Disney parks. Why? Well, they're actually gluten-free, which for some reason makes them a lot less kind of hard and crunchy. So these are actually soft and moist and just delicious churros. So some of my favorites in all of Disney World and Disneyland. And don't forget about the menu propped up on your table with even more featured options. This is where you're going to find things like that glorious lobster mac and cheese sometimes, or any new or featured drinks to try out. If you're here with kids, don't worry. There's even a kids menu of options to choose from with a bunch of different grilled meats and fresh sides. But the chillax part of this lounge is really the view, especially if you get a seat out on its wraparound deck over the river, which you can request before you're seated. The less chillax part about this place is actually getting a table here, since this lounge can get really popular and it often fills up during the day. You can't make an advanced dining reservation for it, so if you want to make sure you can eat or drink here on your Animal Kingdom day, rope drop the lounge by getting in line early, maybe around 10:30 or 10:45. That way you can get your name on the wait list early on and not have to stress over it later. Okay, now here's a wild card entry. Not wild as in the atmosphere though, because this place is far from the party hardy scene. We're going to Cruise Cup Lounge at Disney's Yacht Club. It's located right next to the Yachtsman Steakhouse. This lounge is the epitome of the word warm. It's got a lot of wood and brass details, patterned rugs, and a window peeking into the Yachtsman Steakhouse kitchen where you'll see the chefs hard at work whipping up some juicy steaks. Literally already drooling. It's fine. Cruise Cup Lounge has spirits, beers, wines. They've even got after-dinner wine and scotch flights. But when the lounge favorites become available around 5 p.m., that's when it's time to get there. They've got signature sourdough rolls, lobster bisque, truffle fries, bite-sized stuff. But if you're peering through that Cruise Cup window, gazing at the steaks being seared before your very eyes, Don't worry, you can get that too. There's a 14-ounce roasted prime rib on the Lounge Favorites menu, which comes with mashed potatoes, au jus, and horseradish cream. Now you see why they label these items as Lounge Favorites and not Lounge Bites, right? It's a great place to swing by if you're staying in the Epcot area resorts and need a quieter place to unwind at the end of the night. But by the way, those prime rib sliders have not returned to the menu yet. Unfortunately, the ones that I raved about before the COVID closures. So heads up, those aren't back, but you can get prime rib here, which is awesome. Okay, now that we're getting all settled in, let's head toward a well-kept lounge secret, another one of my favorites, Territory Lounge over there in Wilderness Lodge. This is my default place to go. Like if I can't make a decision about where I want to sit down and enjoy a drink or snack in the evening, my brain will automatically go to Territory Lounge, and I'll start heading that way on autopilot. Territory has some of the best small plate options around. The seasonal bisque, usually it's going to be that mushroom bisque from Artist Point, the Oregon Chardonnay fondue, their rotating pie options. They've got awesome ribs here, and of course can't be skimping out on the drinks. You got your choice of beers, wines, and flights for either, and you've also got a whole list of cocktails. Even if you don't want to wrap up your night with a little alcoholic nightcap, you can choose to order one of the mocktails instead. Good general note here, most of these lounges I've talked about today do have mocktail options, meaning everyone can find a beverage that they want to try. Now, Territory Lounge is pretty out of the way if you're not staying at Wilderness Lodge. I mean, it's out there in the wilderness after all. So if you're planning on traveling here from another hotel, you may want to aim for a visit that's earlier rather than toward the end of the night, especially since if you're relying on Disney transportation, you'll have to stop at either a hotel or Disney Springs bus stop before you can transfer over to a bus to your own home resort after you're done at Territory. Got that? Basically, traveling from resort to resort isn't so straightforward. And since we're already in Wilderness Lodge, let's make our way outside and over to Geyser Point Bar and Grill. This is two sides of the same coin. On one hand, this open-air restaurant is a quick service where you can take your burgers and sandwiches on the go. On the other hand, it's also a bar, lounge, kind of table service location where you can sit back and enjoy the waterfront views while enjoying one of the many cocktails, beers, or wines they've got available. Few other featured cocktails, which all use spirits straight from the Northwest distilleries to keep in theme with the hotel, include options like a black cherry mule, huckleberry punch made with huckleberry vodka and lemon cranberry juice, and Northwest iced tea with vodka, rum, gin, sweet and sour, and a bit of Coca-Cola. Sorry, no actual tea in the Northwest iced tea, just the way the Northwest likes it, I guess. You'll be able to grab small bites and rustic fare here too, like the cheesy brisket dip, which is unbelievable, handcrafted crab cakes, shrimp on a wire, which is literally shrimp on a wire, along with soy lime, vinaigrette, togarashi, shishito peppers, and chili aioli on the side, which is fancy, right? Totally fancy. The regular food is served until 10 p.m., but if you're in need of a late-night sweet treat, you can order the dark chocolate campfire mousse, apple cider sorbet, or seasonal pie flavor up until 11 p.m. This is a beautiful place to go to watch the sunset and just to relax and let all of that crazy park stress wash out of you. Now let's head back to Coronado Springs again, just because like Grand Floridian, you've got some mighty fine date night options here and some really, really delicious food. We're going to Three Bridges Bar and Grill. This rests above the Villa del Lago waters in an open air restaurant. And it's a more casual setting than say Citricos, but still manages to pull off a pretty sophisticated vibe with its sparkling waterfront views. This is where you're going to find upscale bar food. So instead of pizza and wings, you're going to have things like the warm manchego and Oaxaca cheese dip, which is absolutely incredible, the smoked feta Greek salad with your choice of protein, the coconut curry chicken, and several other Spanish-style cuisines to choose from. Oh, and churros. Can't forget the churros. You've also got the drinks. Lots and lots of drinks, but the specialty here isn't wine or beer or even margaritas. It's those house-made sangrias. In fact, the sangrias here are so popular that Three Bridges offers a separate experience during the day called Sangria University, where you can learn how to make your own sangria, as well as learn more about the history of the sangria. It's a 90-minute class. You can learn more about this event on the Disney World website, as well as make advance reservations for it too if you're interested. We also have a full review of it on DisneyFoodblog.com. But back to the general dining room of Three Bridges. It does not take advanced dining reservations, but you can get on a walk-up wait list from the My Disney Experience app. Just note that the restaurant can get kind of crowded during that 6 to 7 p.m. time frame. So if you hit this place up, do it early or late. Usually wait times aren't terrible and will most likely range between 15 and 30 minutes. Usually. Now, trying to track down some South African wine or a Scotch whiskey neat, or maybe you'd like a chocolate Godiva martini, shaken, not stirred. Victoria Falls at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge is one of those tranquil and cozy spots that you could lose track of time at, just sipping away while munching on marinated olives, goat cheese dip, and Cape Town slap chips, which are loaded with fried potatoes, roasted pearl onions, heirloom tomatoes, arugula, apricots, sherry vinaigrette, and blue cheese. Typically, you'll only find this lounge open in the evening, starting around 5 p.m. But just like Wine Bar George, this is another great people-watching spot since it sits directly above the Boma restaurant and right below the Animal Kingdom Lodge lobby. And if your whole vibe is steel drums, palm trees, and Mai Tais, then Banana Cabana is your place. This is at Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort. It's a dual lounge and pool bar, so it's covering all its bases. You can either A, stick around, order a drink, and get some Caribbean-inspired food like a Cuban sandwich or the jerk chicken wings or the awesome pineapple coconut bread pudding, which doesn't quite live up to Ohana's standards, but it was created by the same chef, so it is still incredible. Or B, you can walk up to the bar and order your tropical drink to go, so you can enjoy it back at the pool. One of their most popular specialty drinks is none other than the Banana Cabana, easy to remember, right? Made with mango and coconut rum, Bailey's Irish cream, pineapple juice, cream of coconut, and creme de banana. Okay, if you're ready to boogie to some live music, yes, that's still a thing. Drinks, food, cozy atmosphere, what more could you ask for? How about some movin' and groovin' tunes? For those virtuoso lounge settings, we'll have to travel over to Disney's Port Orleans Resort because these moderate hotels know how to party. We're going to Scat Cat's Cafe and Lounge. Let's start on the French Quarter side of things first, because that's where you're going to find that genuine New Orleans-inspired eats and jazz. Between 5 and 10 p.m. daily, you can order a selection of appetizers, but their most noteworthy selection, of course, are those sweet and savory beignets. Sure, you can get the classic Mickey beignets if you want, but if you'd rather shake things up, try the savory beignets with red pepper jelly, pimento cheese, and green goddess dressing. You can also get your beignet in po' boy form with the oyster beignet po' boy, or for a boozy classic, you can try the Baton Rouge beignets, which come with pipettes filled with your choice of booze, Bailey's Irish Cream, Kahlua, or rum chata. You got lots of cocktails, wines, and beers that can accompany these powdered sugar treats, but the jazz music is the cherry on top of the whole package. Unfortunately, live performances aren't every night, so if that's something you want to prioritize, then visit Scat Cats on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday evening. The music typically starts up around 7:30 p.m., but you might want to get there earlier to secure your spot. And now we're cruising over to Riverside to see what's going on there. Spoiler alert, it's music. You can't miss River Roost Lounge unless you're trying to. It's attached to the lobby and to the right of Riverside's gift shop, Fulton's General Store. Now, let me be real with you here. The appetizers, like the loaded potato puffs and the smoked fish dip, are fine. My favorite item on the list is probably the pimento cheese Mardi Gras fritters, which you can also get at Scat Cat's Cafe. And the drinks are good, but nothing eye-catching or super memorable. The best part about coming here is the entertainment, which is, of course, Yeehaw Bob Jackson. Things can get awfully loud and energetic when Yeehaw Bob is tickling the ivories, so if you want a calmer setting, you may still be better off at Scat Cats. However, if you want to sing along, this can be a good time. Typically, Yeehaw Bob performs on Wednesday through Saturday evenings, but his schedule can vary. Okay, how have we talked about so many bars and lounges without ever mentioning sports? Where are the sports bars? All right, if you want to catch the big game, here's where you want to go. We're going to start with Rick's Sports Bar and Grill, also at Coronado Springs. So many TVs in here, 31 to be exact. And when you're at Rick's Sports Bar and Grill, you can't turn without seeing at least a dozen odd sports ball games staring straight back at you. To your left, you're going to see TVs. To your right, TVs. Straight ahead, more TVs. On the ceiling, okay, no TVs there, but that'd put a crick in your neck anyways. You don't want to watch TV on the ceiling. Anyway, if it's sports you're looking for, you're going to get it here. But even if you're not into the big games and you're staying at Coronado Springs just looking for a new place to grab some food, you can still get yourself a handcrafted cocktail and some decent pub grub. If you've never had waffle fry nachos, called Wachos, before, this is your chance. Now, if that's not enough sports for you, we found some more in Disney Springs. On the west side of Disney Springs, you'll find CityWorks Eatery and Pour House, a restaurant with craft brews, classic American eats, and high-definition TVs, including one with a ginormous 165-inch screen. If you're looking for a huge assortment of different beers to go along with live sporting events playing out in front of you, you'll be happy to know there's 80 different beers on tap at any given time here. And the food here is nice, greasy, and filling, with options like shareable buffalo chicken dip, cheese curds, which are pretty good, tacos, burgers, accessible stuff like that. that. But I gotta warn you, things can get a little loud here on the weekend, which might be just the vibe you're looking for, but might not be the vibe if you're there with little kids in tow. Okay, I think that's the gamut. See, I told you the Disney bars were more than just their stellar drinks, and they're definitely not what you might expect when you think about going to bars on vacation. So which Disney bar or lounge is your favorite on property? Or if you haven't tried one of these yet, which do you want to try next? We would love to hear from you in the comments. And of course, your comments also make a huge difference for other people watching these videos. They learn from you. So please let us know your experiences down there in the comments. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching, everyone. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Vlog, and we'll see you real soon.